If you fly into Honolulu, expect the plane to be full. This airport sees more full flights than any other airport in the US, which is part of the reason Southwest made a huge bet, an ongoing bet, that they could muscle in and push out Hawaiian Airlines. They've lost almost $1 billion trying to take the market from Hawaiian since they started this adventure 5 years ago. Southwest flew to Hawaii 4 times in 2018, first time they ever came to the islands, 3,200 times in 2019. Last year, they cleared 19,000 trips to or from the mainland. Now, plenty of airlines fly to Hawaii, but Southwest is doing something none of the other airlines do, except Hawaiian Airlines. Inter-island flights. 23,000 of them last year. These are short hops like Hilo to Honolulu or Kona to Lihu. Hawaiian Airlines has been an almost exclusive provider of these flights for decades, but now Southwest, known for doing short flights well and efficiently, is aggressively trying to take them. Southwest's product works better at this than the other airlines. No Frills does well on short distance. Nobody cares about amenities on a 45-minute flight. Just get me there cheaply and quickly. So Southwest's idea makes some sense here, but trying to become the dominant airline in and to Hawaii would be an aggressive bet at any time. The distance, the isolation, it's not at all like flying into Denver where you could fly to any of 100 cities next. But it's a particularly aggressive bet at a time when Southwest has reported a loss 3 out of the last 5 quarters, and profits are a fraction of what they were 5 years ago. And this foray into Hawaii has been adding heavy pressure to Southwest's bottom line. Southwest only flies one plane, the Boeing 737, with a max range of 3,500 nautical miles. Flying from the west coast to Hawaii in one of these takes about 5.5 hours. Once in the islands, because the islands are so isolated and the plane has a range of just 3,500 miles, Southwest has just 2 options of what the plane can do next: fly it between the smaller islands or turn around and come back to the mainland. This is unusual for the company. No other route they fly is this constrained. Most routes have dozens, if not hundreds, of different options. Even the most southern international route they fly to Costa Rica is 1,000 miles closer to the US. So the critical part of Southwest's strategy here has been to offer these inter-island flights, shuttling passengers between the 6 main islands for a few flights, and then getting the plane back to the mainland where it can restart the loop. This has put Southwest into direct and fierce competition with Hawaiian Airlines, the primary airline for Hawaii for 100 years, and the only other company to run daily multiple inter-island flights. In coming here, it's hard to see how Southwest didn't make an explicit choice to try and tip Hawaiian back into bankruptcy, and it's on the verge of working. Southwest has been running its flights at a deep loss since they began flying to Hawaii. Southwest flies this route from Las Vegas to Honolulu about twice a day, 2,400 nautical miles, fuel, labor, everything. It costs Southwest about $63,000 to fly it. For it to break even, all 175 seats need to be bought for an average of $360. Yet the flight, on average, has at least 15 empty seats, and the median price of a ticket in 2023 was $295. So Southwest was losing $16,000 every time they flew that route. On the inter-island routes, same thing. They were cutting prices below what it cost to fly the route and losing $2,000 to $4,000 per flight. This has made it challenging for Hawaiian to operate without losing money, drumming up mixed views from the people that actually live in Hawaii. On one hand, the airline employs 7,200 Hawaiian residents and accounts for a substantial portion of Hawaii's GDP, 11% by some measures. It's an important company to the islands. On the other hand, competition is good for consumers. Prices go down. There's probably never been a better time to be a consumer of mainland to Hawaii or inter-island flights, but these prices are not sustainable for either company, so it can't last. And Hawaiian, without the bank account that Southwest has, had to blink first, losing money too fast, trying to compete against Southwest's price cuts. They were forced to try and find a company to merge with. Alaska Airlines said yes, hoping to knit together more of the West, Trans-Pacific, and Hawaiian Islands. Alaska gets a network it wants, and Hawaiian gets to lower its costs, become part of a beefier loyalty program, and avoid potential bankruptcy. Making the decision from the Department of Justice on whether the merger will go through, critical for Southwest. If Hawaiian goes under or even just has to cut back operations, Southwest will pick up all or most of the inter-island travel, which represents about $100 million a year in profit at the prices that came before this price war. Being able to offer inter-island and mainland flights together and being the only company that did, Southwest would have a unique offering that would allow it to soak up even more mainland to Hawaii flights. But even here, with this best case scenario, Southwest is looking at more than 7 years to recoup the cost of entering Hawaii in the first place. So if the merger goes through, which we will find out soon, Hawaii may very well force Southwest to continue losing money on its Hawaii routes, putting pressure on Southwest to decide if it can continue this strategy or has to cut its losses and move on. And it's really starting to come to a head in terms of cost cutting for Southwest. The stock has lost 10 years of gains, and one activist investor, Elliott Management, has targeted the company for a turnaround. They bought up 11% of Southwest shares and have been specifically citing cost as being out of control. Southwest doesn't like this, to put it lightly. They've even adopted what's called a poison pill shareholder agreement to prevent Elliott Management from buying even more stock and pushing through a hostile takeover. 5 years in, and this is not where Southwest wanted to be in Hawaii. That's a very long time to run a series of routes that loses that much money, and the market is noticing. Is it just like puree pineapple? Or do they put something else in it? It's fresh as hell.